I truly don't know anyone who can be as captivating and witty and funny and smart and quick-witted and yet captures the physicality of that role. He's so alive, he's so grounded and so loose, and he just becomes a hero, but the most sort of unwilling hero, and it's what makes him all the more lovable because he's so vulnerable and he's such a mess. And yet, you know, this expert, brilliant stuntman. And I think all of Ryan's exquisite qualities got to kind of blend together into one perfect role for him.
It was so tense because it was so dangerous. And you know, even though there's so much thought goes into it, the level of preparation, the level of repetition, and the way that they sort of do it in stages, and it's really everything you could do to make sure that the performer is safe. Every measure you could take is done. But at the end of the day, it's still dangerous what they're doing. Everything has to go right. The weather has to be right, the density of the sand, the list goes on. And so it's very tense. And I just remember vividly we were all on set when he finally was going to do the stunt. It's almost like in the film when it moves in slow motion, it felt like that in real time. It just felt like you're counting every roll, but you're also worried about Logan. And in the film, you know, a lot is made of the thumbs up, but it's such a relief when you finally see it. And when he finally gave the thumbs up and we understood that he was okay and that he'd broken this record, it really was like a day I'll never forget.
I mean, she's really warm and inviting, but she's eccentric and she's as messy as the rest of us, and real and grounded. And she's basically directing her directorial debut, which is this ridiculous, extravagant sci-fi western called Metal Storm. And she's kind of in way over her head. She has huge talent, but she's under an exorbitant amount of pressure to deliver on this movie, and sort of hanging on by a thread. So the last thing she needs is this ex-boyfriend showing up to unravel everything that she's built and turn her whole world upside down. But ultimately, their feelings for each other and the chemistry that they have are gonna override any desire to try and keep things profesh.
I was happy to be the first actor to say I did none of my own stunts in this film. It is about the stunt performers, and I was excited to highlight their work and let them do what they do best. But it was important that I do some of the stunts just, first of all, for me to understand what, on some small level, what they deal with every day, but also just for authenticity in the film. So I have a fear of heights, and I knew this was coming because it is called The Fall Guy, and we knew that there was going to be a fall. But the whole opening sequence all takes place in a oneer, and it leads up to them dropping me 12 stories off of a building. So that was one that there was no real way around. Another one that we did was I got dragged across the Sydney Harbor Bridge, which again was important to sort of have me do it because this character is risking his life and everything he has to sort of get to this karaoke date with Jodie. And it was just important that I be there doing it. And it was really geniusly scheduled because they did it at 6 a.m. So I was so tired when we did it that I sort of showed up. They dragged me across the bridge. I went home and went to sleep and thought, that was a very strange dream I just had.
I mean, what I love about Dave Leitch's movies is they have a completely unique tone, and that tone captures everything from the absurd to the grounded. They are stunningly stylistic to look at. He knows exactly how to move that camera around in order to capture something emotional and something rare. They're kinetic and sort of visceral, and he's just the best guy in the world. He's just takes all of it in the most humble, human way, and he's completely open-minded, I think, to actors bringing their thoughts. He's an amazing collaborator, probably the most collaborative person I've ever worked with. The best idea wins, and I think it's what gives his movies this grounded reality amidst something so spectacular. I think he's really unusual. I think he's captured this vibe and this look and this spirit that's very unique to him.
Yes, the film was about making movies, but it's really about just real people. It's not about superheroes, it's about the people who play them. It's about the people who make those films. Colt is a blue-collar hero who's just, in a lot of ways, a regular guy who, having a hard time in his life. He's lost his girlfriend and his job, and he's lost confidence. He's just trying to make ends meet and figure out how to be a good person and who he is, and just dealing with things that we all deal with. And Jodie's the same, and really all the characters in the film. They're just very hardworking people who are doing their best and feel lucky to do something that they love.
The story in a nutshell is that you have our hero of this stuntman played by Ryan Gosling. His name's Colt Seavers. He's just getting over an almost career-ending accident that he had on a film set, and maybe the last thing he wants is to be pulled back onto another movie set to reinvigorate his career as a stuntman. But the appeal of it is that his former love, Jodie, is the director of this movie. And so he really goes with the desire to win her back, but ultimately becomes an unwilling bounty hunter as he's pulled into a conspiracy that could ultimately napalm Jodie's entire movie. And so he just gets tangled in a web while trying to win her back and not destroy her life.
David's just such an exciting person to be around and an incredible partner. And even from the very beginning, I mean, he went and stayed in a hotel next to my house before we started shooting. And we just went through the script scene by scene every day and just rewrote it to be personal to us so that it would be an amalgamation of our experiences. He's so hands-on. He's so not afraid of anything. And I think, it's sort of his experience as a stuntman in a way, the fearlessness that he has in that work, he has as a filmmaker. This is a difficult needle to thread because it's an action movie, it's a comedy, it's a mystery, it's a meta film about making movies. It's a lot of plates to spin, and he just wasn't afraid of that at all. And I think we all just felt inspired by that and wanted to sort of mirror that and sort of follow him wherever he wanted to go. It's always the dream to work with a filmmaker who feels like they're the only person who could make that movie, but this was really one of those cases. I really can't imagine anyone but David making this film.
Hannah Waddingham plays our producer, Gail. She's a producer who will stop at nothing to get the movie made. She's ruthless, somewhat remorseless. She's super clever, Machiavellian, and is sort of puppeteering this whole shenanigan. Hannah just played it with such kind of gleeful relish, and it was just wonderful watching her blow the doors off the place as this rather awful producer.